We're talking about wine today, one of my favorite topics, actually. I'm here with Alf Bach from Margren Skoglund Wine Importers, and we're just going to learn a little bit more about this business and then also talk specifically about different wine recommendations you might have for us. So tell me, we talked earlier, and you are an importer and a distributor here. How do you decide which wines you are going to bring in, and how does that all work?
Right. As you said, I'm an importer and a wholesaler and distributor. I go to Europe several times a year to meet with wine producers, trade shows, and traveling in the wine regions, get to meet these small producers, sit down in their kitchens and taste their wines, and then select what I want to bring in, what I think would be, successful here in this market.
And you're obviously looking for a variety of price points there, so you can sell to any customer.
Anything from $5, $6 wines to several $100s is my range, but mostly around $15. That's kind of the sweet spot.
For people when they're just table wines and that kind of thing. So what about, I'm going to do a little quiz here with you. If I were going to have like just a basic family dinner, so maybe something like just a chicken dish with some sides, what kind of wine would you recommend serving with something like that?
Well, it depends on how flavorful the sauce is and so on. But a good French wine, southern France, Côte d'Or, for instance, $12 to $15 wine would be a good choice with something like that.
Is there a difference between wines that are produced in France versus a different country in Europe? I mean, they must vary.
Very much so. There's different grape varietals in different countries. For instance, in Italy, a lot of Sangiovese for the red wines. France, you have Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and so on. And in Spain, Tempranillo is the big prevalent red grape.
Okay, so the Tempranillo is obviously the name of the grape. Cabernet, is that the name of the grape?
Cabernet Sauvignon. That's very important because there's other Cabernets also. Cabernet Sauvignon is one of the most popular grapes in the world, as a matter of fact.
Can I expect a different taste if I'm ordering a French wine versus an Italian wine? Is it going to be drier or sweeter, or does it just really vary by the winery?
It varies by the grape variety and the location where it's grown. The French have a term called terroir. There is no English word for it, but it's got to do with the grape variety, the weather, the soil, everything that goes into making a good grape. It all starts with grapes.
Okay. How about if I'm going to give a gift and I want to give something a little bit special? I'm not even talking about price point necessarily, because I think people can vary on that, but just maybe what's something that is really palatable to most people? Do more people drink white or more people drink red?
More people prefer red wines. Sexes have a difference in opinion. A lot of women drink white wine. I love white wine too. But for a gift, I would pick a red wine.
You would pick a red wine. Mm-hmm. And then what kind of grape do you think I would look for?
In Italian, Sangiovese would be a great pick. You can get them anywhere from $10 up to the $100, several $100. There's many goods. Chianti Classico, for instance, is a Sangiovese.
Okay. And what about when we talk about red wine? Do I have to keep it for a long time before I drink it, or can I have it right away? What's your opinion on that?
There are wines that's ready to be drunk now. Mostly the more inexpensive wines are ready to be drunk now. If you want to keep it, I would go with a French wine from Bordeaux or some that has higher tannins, bigger fruit, so it's bigger bodied wine. It's going to last for a long time.
Okay.
A normal cheap wine, 3-4 years. A really good wine can last for 30, 40 years.
Oh my gosh, wow. I don't know if it would last in my house for 30 or 40 years. So tannins, tell me a little bit. I've heard that term before, and I have a small understanding of it, but what does that exactly mean in a red wine?
Tannins is what you get if you drink really strong tea. You get that dried out feeling in your mouth. Mm-hmm. That is tannins. And that's what you get from some of the bigger grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon and so on.
But that is a desirable thing, or it's not a desirable thing?
It's a desirable thing if you have the acidity, if you have the fruit. It's all the wines got to be balanced. Too much of one thing is not a good. It's got to be a complete balance in the wine.
So let's say I'm planning a special meal, kind of like a date night or something, and we're going to serve like filet and then all of the sides that would go with a piece of red meat like that. What kind of wine would you recommend for that?
Big, heavy, and red.
What's the heaviest red wine?
Could be probably Cabernet Sauvignon. I personally like, in that instance, I like a Châteauneuf de Pape, for instance, from southern France, made from Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, Carignan. Those are all grapes from southern France, and that is my preference.
Is that a blend?
That's a blend,
Okay.
yes. Most European wines are blends. They're not a single variety.
Okay, my final challenge for you is I want to host a wine tasting party for some couples. What are 6 different wines you would recommend that I would have on hand?
It depends on the format of what you're thinking of. You can go with all wines from one country. You can pick all varietals from different country that's the same varietal. For instance, Pinot Grigio from different countries or Sauvignon Blanc. So there's several different ways you can go with that. I like the same varietal from different countries attack to that, and it's a fun thing. You can have everybody bring a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc or Merlot or something from different countries and see what you like and pick a price point, for instance.
Okay, that's a great idea. All right, my final question. You have tasted wines, I'm sure, from everywhere around the world. Where or what is your favorite? Can you think of your favorite wine of all time? Can you pick a favorite?
It's a very difficult question to answer. It depends on what I'm eating, what time of the year, temperature, but I'm partial to Bordeaux wines. Bordeaux wines are expensive, very, very expensive. Some can be thousands of dollars a bottle, but you know, a mid-priced Bordeaux at $100 is usually a good pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll be right back after these messages.